Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me share a thought with you for the benefit of our witnesses and those who may be here observing, that we have a little bit of a problem in that we have 9 members of this committee who are also on Environment and Public Works. We're meeting exactly the same time. Now, I chaired that committee for a number of years, and this is a problem with this many, and I'm hoping we'll be able to change that. But that's the reason you see a lot of members coming in and going out. One of the things we've dealt with over there for a long period of time, and quite frankly, it's different between Democrats and Republicans on the committee, but I'm a conservative Republican. I chaired the committee. So it is the overregulation that we're dealing with on a regular basis. Well, I see that in the jurisdiction of this committee, too. And so, Mr. Scover, in any period of rapid technology changes, one of the problems I've seen is we're not willing to discard the old, and we continue on some of the older practices that we don't, have anymore. A good example in addressing our pipeline problems, our nation's regulatory framework, several decades ago, they established what they call a class location system rule for natural gas and pipeline operators. Now, it's long since been superseded by new technology. They have something right now called the Smart Pig technology, where they can go in and measure the strength of the pipeline without having to go through the very expensive operation. Now, the problem is that they have continued with even though we have the new technology that can be used, they're continuing to use the old technology. So are there any other regulations in PHMSA that where perhaps are no longer necessary, but we have not had the foresight to do away with them? Any you can think of?
Thank you, Senator Inhofe. I am aware of the example you just cited. It's perhaps the most glaring example of the problem that you just described. My office has not maintained, specifically with respect to PHMSA, or indeed across the department, any kind of inventory or list of regulations that may be outdated.
Mm-hmm. Now, could you do that?
We could, working with the department, mm-hmm. See what we could do by way of an audit report along those lines.
Yeah.
I will say, too, that with regard to PHMSA, we have looked really at the opposite side of the coin that you described. And that has to do with PHMSA's ability to enact the rulemakings that in many instances were mandated by the Congress or by NTSB, and its inability to do so in a timely manner and in an effective way. Yeah. So it's really not the same problem that you described. We did extensive work on that over the last year plus and found problems with PHMSA's ability to do that, and specifically the material strength problem that you just described, which was the subject of a congressional mandate. PHMSA has not yet passed a final rule on that. So, but in conjunction with that, that would be an opportunity specifically on the older technology and the older rule.
Okay, well, real quickly, I appreciate that very much, and so let's have a chance to visit personally about this, and because we have some other examples also. Now, since 2008, the EPA and the DOT have taken an increasingly heavy hand in regulating the auto industry, talking about with greenhouse gases and CAFE standards. And just days before President Trump's inauguration, the EPA issued a final determination. It was about a year earlier than they were supposed to do it. They're supposed to be in 2017, but in October or November is when we anticipated that would happen. And my personal feeling is that they did that wanting to get it done before the change was made. So I would ask you, how does EPA's sudden departure from a previously announced process for reviewing the requirements impact the ability of NHTSA to engage on this issue?
I don't have inside knowledge on what EPA's actions or motivations might have been. However, with regard to DOT's part in CAFE rulemaking, clearly now it appears the ball is in NHTSA's court, and they have the opportunity to move forward in appropriate ways, but they'll need to reconcile what they may be able to do now with what EPA has apparently done and see how they can
Well, all right, but
advance
what
the
I'd
effort.
request is that you look into that and to see what problems came with the premature evaluation that they made. The last thing, I know my time's expired, but for the record, I'd like to suggest that our drone technology is not as good as it is in some other countries. Just recently, Rwanda, their government enabled a drone company to begin delivering blood and plasma to rural clinics. And so there are a lot more things that we could do, and I'd just like, for the record, to have you respond as to what might be the problem in moving along with technology that we see in the UK and other countries, and perhaps be able to do that here at this country.
We'd be happy to take that question, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.